Rajput, SAA, for today's meeting. I would like to welcome you all in the meeting number 131 of the Gabbys Toastmaster Club. I'm sure you all are as excited as I am today. Before we begin today's meeting, I would like to highlight few key points here. This meeting is blocked for 2 hours, and I would like to request everybody that please be there in the meeting for next 2 hours. Please turn on your video and turn off your audio. And whenever you are called out or you need to speak, you can turn on your audio. And I would like to request you all that please don't discuss anything related to sex, religion, and politics. Although Gabbys Toastmaster International does not put any restrictions on this topic, but at the Gabbys Toastmaster Club, we would like to request that avoid discussing any topic related to this and anything related to these topics. And yeah, so apart from that, I would like to request all the role takers and speakers also, please be mindful on these topics and do not make any controversial statement which will assist any members or guests. Okay, so now I would like to call today's presiding officer, Toastmaster Dhwani. She is the secretary of the Gabbys Toastmaster Club and three-time crown winner, a path breaker, and she is a personality development coach by profession, an artist by heart, and a period educator by choice. Over to you, presiding officer.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nitish. Can we have a huge round of applause for our SAA for today?
Thank you all.
Hello, everybody, and I am your presiding officer. But before that, before I begin, I really want everybody to come on the camera. Yes, I see cameras turning up. Come on, few more to go. Perfect, perfect. Yes. Okay, so once again, a very warm welcome to 131st meeting of the Gabbys Toastmasters Club. I heartily welcome all the guests and fellow members and Toastmasters to our club and our meeting today. For today, our meeting comprises of 3 segments, which will be our, we'll have prepared speeches, we will have table topics and evaluation. And after the, yes. So as the presiding officer, it's my duty to make the meeting in order. So I open the meeting for today. Our theme is a very, very interesting theme which is related to facts and myths. Mythbuster is the theme. I'm really excited to know what our Toastmaster of the day has gotten for us. Yes. With that, let me introduce our our Toastmaster of the day. He is somebody somebody whom we all look up to. He is a distinguished Toastmaster. Without him, the meetings feel incomplete. I would heartily welcome DTM Saurav Datta to take over the stage.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dhwani, our presiding officer, and thank you, our Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Nitish Rajput. Dhwani, we have to take over as the Zoom moderator and take care of the spotlighting, please. Okay, so the theme of the meeting today is Mythbusters. So let's start with a few myths. What are some of the myths that you can think of in terms of communication and leadership? Let's start with that. What is that one myth that you always thought is true and then someone told you or you realized over time that that is not true?
Leaders are born.
Sorry?
Well begun is half done.
Well begun is half done. Okay. We have to go all the way to complete it. Just a good start doesn't help, right? That's why we have the opening body and conclusion. And who knows it better than a table topic speaker? Most of us have a very good beginning, and after 10 seconds, we are like, okay, where are we going with this? Right? Everyone, I see knowing smiles on everyone's face here. Okay. Good one, Toastmaster Pongal. What is the other myth that we can think of? Anyone?
So the authoritative leadership may always work or something. Like some people want power and they wanted to show the power, so that would always work.
Great. So authoritative leadership is very effective, right? That's what the myth is, that if you are a chest thumping, jumping up and down kind of a leader, you'll always find a lot of followers and fans. Well, maybe you will find your own cult, but day by day that cult will only go smaller. And then one day will come when your followers themselves will throw you out. And we have got many, many, many examples of that in the world today. There is one myth that I would want to first. So how we'll do this is that in each section, we will talk about a few types of myths. So at the start of this meeting, I'm going to talk about a couple of myths around communication, about Toastmasters, about communications. In the next section, I'll talk about a couple of myths within Toastmasters, of Toastmasters by Toastmasters. And then finally, I'll talk about a few myths that's generic about leadership. Okay, so we will have a more interactive discussion as we get started with. Yeah, so leadership comes with designation. That's another myth that we have. So one of the most interesting myths that I have come across about communication, actually it's two kinds of myths. One is communication is a natural skill. You either have it or you don't. Right? And that is something that we are busting every day with the Toastmaster meeting. Since 1924, when Dr. Ralph C. Smedley started the Toastmasters movement, we have been busting this myth all across the world, currently in 16,000 clubs in more than 150 countries with 300,000 members. And this myth is something that we are busting. But there is one more interesting myth that comes along with this. And that is, once a good speaker, always a good speaker. Oh, he's so good. He just can't be bad. Now tell me, why do I say this is a myth?
Because any skill is something that you need constant practice. It just cannot be.
Okay, you lose practice. If you lose practice, you lose expertise. Okay, that's one way of looking at it. What else?
It
The
depends on
audience
the
keeps changing.
Audience.
We have to connect with the audience.
Exactly. Okay, who was that?
Nitesh here. It
This is
depends on the situation also, like when he's speaking and what kind of circumstances there that at that point of time.
Exactly. The audience keeps changing, depends on the circumstances. You're kind of getting there, but what is it that I'm looking for here is that our need for communication also changes with where we are standing, right? So take this example. How many of you are developers, coders, analysts here? Full stack development, coding and all of that. Techies. Karthik, I know. Paduka raised her hand. Pawan raised his hand. Mamta raised her hand. Mamta is a .NET, React developer, right? So, when you're a developer or a coder, you will find that when you're speaking up in meetings, you're coming across forthright, outright, you're very expressive, people will really appreciate you. They will say, wow, this girl has the fire in her belly. Now, what that exactly means, I never understood, but whatever it means, it basically means something good, right? And then people will appreciate you. And slowly you'll see things happening. You'll get that double-digit promotion, double-digit increment. You'll get that promotions more frequently. Now, when you reach the next level, you become a team manager. The same style of speaking, the same style of communication can actually become counterproductive. Because that is when what people initially appreciated as an assertive communication style, they will now mark it as an aggressive communication style. What was working in your favor as a developer will now work against you as a director, right? So the communication style has to constantly change based on what is the purpose of communication, who's the audience, what is your position, what is the intent of communication, all of this put together. So if you are good with certain types of communications, it does not mean that you will always continue to be a good communicator, even in other roles. Or take this example. Someone is really good in business presentations. You know, you talk about React and you ask Mamta to take a presentation, she'll do it in her sleep. You talk about Akshay Patra and you ask Lakshmi to do a presentation, she'll do it in her sleep. But remove Lakshmi from that setting and put it in a different setting. For example, ask Lakshmi to talk about Formula One, right? Things will become slightly different. So that is why communication needs constant practice and constant upgrading. And that's why a Toastmaster meeting helps, because it's not a one-off thing. The other interesting myth about communications is that it is something that you learn. You can learn just by watching good videos, TED Talks, right? And that is something that I've seen a lot of people doing. I'm working on my communication skills. I'm watching a TED Talk video every day. It's as logical as saying that I'm learning driving by watching other drivers, right? Just like you can't learn driving by watching other drivers, you can't learn speaking by watching TED Talk videos or watching Udemy and Coursera courses. Just like for learning driving, you need to drive. For speaking, you need to speak. So that's another myth that I have seen getting busted in Toastmaster meetings every day. Talking about Toastmaster meetings, my PO has already stolen my thunder, but still I will stick to the script, and I'll say that this meeting again has got 3 sections to it. In the first section, we have got 3 prepared speeches presented by 3 speakers. 2 of them are from the Gabbys Toastmasters Club, and 1 we have got a guest speaker today. And I'll introduce the guest speaker shortly. And I'm really excited about this speech by the guest speaker. The second section is the impromptu speaking section, where we are going to have impromptu speakers coming and presenting their speeches. And the third section is the evaluation section, where we'll have the general evaluator and his tag team presenting their evaluations. Now at the Gabbys, we follow a slightly different structure. In other clubs, you'll probably find that the general evaluator invites the evaluators. At the Gabbys, we have the evaluations happening after the prepared speech section. So the evaluation of the prepared speeches happens just after the speeches get concluded, right? So that helps people to keep a tab in terms of the evaluation and not forget what exactly is there. But today, probably we will not be able to follow that format because we have got a TTM evaluator. So what we'll do is we'll still have the evaluation section also with the general evaluation section. With this, let me invite the general evaluator. I've been talking about him for quite some time, a general evaluator. So the general evaluator in a Toastmaster meeting is a very important role. And we have got someone really, he's like more of a celebrity in the world of Toastmasters. So we are really blessed to have him here today. We have distinguished Toastmaster Rohit Reddy as a general evaluator today. This is a practice that we have had in the Gabbys for a very long time, since our inception, that we have always invited distinguished Toastmasters and Toastmasters from across the world, from outside clubs, to get an outside-in perspective of the meetings, right? And we strongly believe that has helped us become what we are today. And distinguished Toastmaster Rohit Reddy is currently serving as an area director in District 124. He has made it to the India Book of Records for achieving the title of Distinguished Toastmaster at a very young age. He has sponsored more than 50 members in Toastmasters International. Now, don't think that he is an Adani or an Ambani. So Toastmasters, sponsoring Toastmaster members is not literally paying for them. It's about introducing them to the world of Toastmasters. And that's what he has done. He has introduced 50 members to the world of Toastmasters and sponsored them. But the best part of his introduction is this. He has been a club officer 18 times. 18 times. Okay, so a big round of applause for this selfless service leader who is going to play the role of the general evaluator today, distinguished Toastmaster Rohit Reddy. Over to you, Rohit.
Thank you. Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Saurav Dattak. And we keep the round of applause going for our wonderful Toastmaster of the day, who has been doing a very fine job in setting the energy of the meeting and also introducing what is actually going to happen today. Now, hello, everyone. I am Rohit Reddy, and I'm going to be your general evaluator for today's session. Now, what does a general evaluator do? For those of you don't know, a general evaluator is nothing but someone who actually busts the myths that you have or something that you have to work upon yourself. He's that friend and guide who is going to tell you where you excel and where you have to work on in order to be a better version of yourself. So my role includes to evaluate all the role players, speakers, and also give them constructive feedback on how they can improve. Now, since this is a humongous task in front of me, I can't do it alone. I have a team of 4 role players who are going to help me in this due course of this session. Now, the first role player in my team is the timer. Since, as they say, the most important resource on this planet is time, and we need someone who needs to make sure that we are on time when it comes to our prepared speeches, impromptu speeches, evaluations, and all the other role play that we're going to do here. So the first person in my team is Toastmaster Pawan, the timer. He has 10 years of experience in IT, working with Target as lead engineer. He enjoys long drives and also exploring new places and trekking. So with a huge round of applause, can I have Toastmaster Pawan, who is the timer for today, and ask him to please explain his role. Toastmaster Pawan, over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator Rohit, inviting me. So today I'm playing the role of timer. So where I will keeping the timing eyes on time, where the speaker will be given a time 5 to 7 minutes, where 5 will showcase as a green signal. When he will complete 6th minute, it will be a yellow signal, and when it will cross 7 minutes, it will be a red signal. I will be changing my background with the colors in such a way. I will just demonstrate. So when it will be 5 minutes, it will be this color. When it's a 6 minute, it will be yellow. And when it is a 7 minute, it will be red. So who is talking on the screen, please just take a look on the screen. Same thing for evaluator, 2 minutes for green screen, 2.5 minutes is for yellow, and 3 minutes is for the red screen. And for grammarian, it's a 1 minute for green, 1.5 minutes for yellow, and 2 minutes for red. Yeah, that will be the rule for today's timer.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pawan, for explaining your role in a detailed way. Now we have with us the next person in my team is someone who is going to make sure that we eliminate those crutch and fillers that we add to sentences that generally don't contribute to the meaning of the sentence we're speaking. So he is someone called the R counter, and taking up the role of R counter today is Toastmaster Ankit. Now, Toastmaster Ankit is working as an associate director in IQVIA, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, and he's a pharmacist by education and with 13 years of industry experience. But what really struck me in his introduction is that he enjoys cooking in his leisure time. Now, anybody, irrespective of gender or whatever, I'm intrigued by people who love to cook, because I only step into the kitchen when I need to ask my mom for food. So I'm intrigued by people who enjoy cooking as a passion. So Toastmaster Ankit, over to you, and please explain your role.
Thanks, distinguished Toastmaster Rohit Reddy, for such a wonderful introduction. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of the our counter is to note the words and sounds that are used as crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen the overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds, including and I will note when a speaker repeats a word such as I, or this means, and at the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times each speaker used these expressions. Thanks, everyone, and over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Rohit.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ankit, for laying down what you're going to do as an hour counter. Now, the third role player in my team is Toastmaster Pongal Punita, who is going to be basically the Brennan Martin of our session, who's going to take care of the language and how well are you doing when it comes to using the English language. So Toastmaster Pongal Punita is an accomplished school educator. She's a certified hypnotherapist and also an author. So with a huge round of applause, please welcome Toastmaster Pongal Punita to explain her role as a grammarian.
Thank you. And as a grammarian, it'll be my role will be to talk on the good language uses, mark on the good language usage, where I'll be taking a note of the outstanding words, quotes or sayings and thoughts given by all the speakers. And also I'll be taking note of the improper language usage, where I'll be making note of the inappropriate words, the wrong pronunciation of words, and also the grammatical errors. And also I'll be making note of people who are using the word of the day. So as a grammarian, it's my duty to introduce the word of the day, and the word of the day is to debunk. To debunk means to expose or discredit something that is false or exaggerated or widely believed but untrue. It involves revealing the truth behind a popular myth, misconception, or mistaken belief, often through careful examination, analysis of evidence. The term debunk is often used in reference to the revealing of conspiracy theories, urban legends, or the urban dubious claims. To use the word in sentences, the team of scientists worked to debunk the theory that vaccines cause autism. The journalist wrote an article to debunk the rumors that the politician had a criminal record. The Magician's Act was designed to debunk the idea that he had supernatural powers. With this, I hand over the baton to General Evaluator Rohit Reddy.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Punita, for explaining your role. And now the last person in my team is the listener. And to put it very simply, the listener is someone who is like that teacher who is going to make sure you're listening by asking you questions in between the class. So just kidding. So the listener in my team is going to make sure that we're all actively paying attention to the meeting today. So the listener roles is being taken up by Toastmaster Chitrakshi, and she's an image management professional and has 9+ years of experience. So can I please invite Toastmaster Chitrakshi to explain her role, please? Am I audible?
You are audible, but I think Chitrakshi may have dropped off from the meeting. I am not able to see her now. We'll continue with this. In case Chitrakshi is not there, maybe Dhwani can take over as the listener. Dhwani, is that okay?
Yeah, I can take it up.
We'll have a backup listener. I think she's facing some problem with her internet.
Okay, so I'll just explain the roles. The listener is someone who's going to come up at the end and ask you questions so that you are actively paying attention to the meeting as a whole. So with this, these are me and my team members who are going to come at the end and give you feedback on how well you've done and what are the areas you have to improve upon. And I'll be coming back at the end when called upon. And till from now, I'll be handing over the baton to Toastmaster of the Day, distinguished Toastmaster Saurav, who is ready to debunk some myths that we might have about public speaking and leadership. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Saurav.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Rohit Reddy, and thank you to the entire Taggle team who's there to help us with this meeting. Now, before I get started with the with the prepared speech section. As I told you that this section, we will now talk a little bit about myths within Toastmasters and about Toastmasters, but by Toastmasters. So can you think of a few myths that got debunked during your course as a Toastmaster, which you thought as a Toastmaster it's true, and then you realize that it's not?
Sorry, I can't turn on my video at DTM Saurav. I think leaders are born, not made. I didn't realize the tagline of Toastmasters unless I took up a leadership role. So I think, yeah, that's the biggest myth that got busted for me.
Fantastic, Abhishek. Good. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Shaifal.
So one of the myths that got debunked for me was that it's not enough to just speak well. It's not enough to just know the language. It's also about how you present that language.
Fantastic. Yeah. I know English, so I am a good speaker is as sensible as saying I know English, hence I'm a poet or an author or a novelist or a blogger, right? If that doesn't make sense, this also doesn't make sense. I know English, so I'm a good speaker, maybe, may not be. Great. Thank you. Abhinaya was trying to say something. Abhinaya? Okay. Anyone else has something to share? Pawan, yeah?
Yeah, so I debunked the myths of time management. Earlier, I was having like we are good to have 2 minutes or 5 minutes over the meeting, but as a Toastmaster, I learned like that time really matters, and we should manage the time and finish our talks within the time.
Thank you for politely giving me the nudge, Toastmaster Pawan, as the timer. I get your message loud and clear. So I'll take Lakshmi's comment in the next section. But I'll just debunk a few myths about Toastmasters within Toastmasters. The first one, we have got 11 pathways. Why is that a myth?
They're called paths.
Exactly. We have 11 paths, not 11 pathways. We have got only one Toastmaster pathway and 11 paths within the pathways. Right. And I have seen 99.99% Toastmasters, including distinguished Toastmasters, including district officers, including district trios, saying, I have completed presentation mastery pathway. And I'm in fact seeing that in the election posters as well. And I find it very amusing because in Toastmasters, we have only one pathways and 11 paths as the first myth. Second myth. This is probably for DTMs, people who are interested in being a DTM. People feel that the Distinguished Toastmaster project is something that you have to do at the very end after fulfilling all the criteria of being a DTM. That's again a myth. You can start your Distinguished Toastmaster project after completing the third level of the second path. You have to do 2 unique paths to become a DTM. After you complete the third level of the second path, you can start your Distinguished Toastmaster project. The third myth that I have seen people have is you have to be a speaker to make the most of Toastmaster. Anything else is a simple waste of time. And I have seen people who come into the meetings only if they are a speaker. And I also find that, so I am also one of the co-creators of a group called Global Toastmasters, which has got close to more than 300 members now, along with DTM Brahma Kumar. We started it a couple of years back. And I find a lot of serial speakers there, who come there only for requesting speech slots. And they only come to meetings if they give them speech slots, because the myth is that if you speak and only speak, only then you become a better communicator, not necessarily. I think the role that Chitrakshi is playing today is no less important than the role that I am playing today. So these are the 3 most popular myths that I've seen in the Toastmasters world, and that's why I thought that I'll debunk those. And with this, I would now move on to the prepared speech section. I would be inviting the evaluators first, introducing the evaluators and then the speakers. The evaluator for the first speaker is Toastmaster Sri Lakshmi Hegde, a certified image consultant and soft skills trainer. Her interest in public speaking and leadership skills made her join Toastmasters. She is a double triple crown winner and a double path breaker. She is the founder of Imaginating Image Consulting Services. Toastmaster Sri Lakshmi, requesting you to present this project objectives of speaker one.
Thank you, DTM Sauradatta. My target speaker, Paduka, is attempting her researching and presenting speech. It's the purpose of this project is for member to learn, review basic methods and present well-organized speech, well-researched speech on any topic. That her path is visionary communication. I request, I wish my target speaker, Paduka, very good luck. All the best, Paduka. Looking ahead for your speech. What you DTM Saurabh? Speech title is Once in a Century Transformation.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sri Lakshmi. And before I introduce the first speaker, let me quickly take this opportunity to debunk another myth that we have within Toastmaster, is that the evaluator has to give out the name of the speaker and the speech title. That is not true. It is the job of the Toastmaster of the day to introduce the speaker along with the speech title. The evaluator only has to read out the project objectives and the project guidelines. So the reason being that Toastmaster says evaluator should be evaluating the speech and not the speaker. With this, let me introduce the first speaker of the day. The first speaker of the day has been a Toastmaster for more than 3 years. And even before she joined the Gabbys Toastmasters Club, I was a big fan of hers when she was the president of another Toastmaster club, TCS Maitri Bangalore Toastmasters Club. She has completed her path in innovative planning and has volunteered for multiple Toastmaster events. As the past president of TCS Maitri Bangalore Toastmasters Club, she helped the club achieve distinguished club status and won multiple awards during her tenure as the president of the club. Toastmaster Paduka Kannan, once in a century transformation. Once in a century transformation, Toastmaster Paduka Kannan. Over to you.
Rise and shine the Gabbys. Today, I'm going to talk about a revolution that is happening in automotive segment, simply put as cars. When you hear the word cars, what comes to your mind? You can reply via chat or you can unmute yourself and speak as well.
Excited.
So when you excited, okay. So if it's something that related to the parts of a car or a feature of a car. Anyone? AC? Okay.
Travel.
Okay.
I think for me, it's a dream car.
Dream car. Okay. You're talking about the future car. Wow. However, when it off-road fuel, wow, off-road, okay, so there's a techie in automotive engineer. Fuel price, okay. All right, guys, thank you. So a decade back, for predominant number of people, even now to some extent, when you talk about the different parts of a car, people talk about the speed, the mileage, the engine, the cabin size, right? Maybe some may talk about it. But right now we are in the midst of a transformation where automotive engineers are calling it as a once in a century transformation. And this is not something you can debunk. So car is being compared to a digital product. When I say digital product, your mobile is a digital product. Your watch is a digital product, where the focus is being given towards the software part compared to the hardware or the mechanical part. Okay. And this is majorly due to the emergence of concept CASE, C-A-S-E, CASE in vehicles. That is C for connected, A for autonomous, S for shared, and E for electric. Let's start backwards, the easy ones. Electric vehicles, where car runs on a battery instead of engine. A concept which is being pushed to realize effectively to promote sustainability in the environment, because this will aid in the reduction of carbon dioxide, which is normally released in the engine-based vehicle, and carbon dioxide is harmful for the environment and aids in global warming. Okay. Number two, it's shared. Okay, with the rise of like platforms like Uber and Ola, there's a huge drive is into just to use a shared vehicle instead of owning one, right? So do you know that more than 40 million trips, 40 million guys, are being booked on the two biggest e-hailing platforms every day, every day. Number 3 is autonomous. Have you heard of the concept driverless car? Anyone? Driverless, no driver in the car? No?
Yes.
Okay, good. Some have got to hear.
Yes, Tesla.
Yeah, they promote it as driverless, even then that's tricky. That's an end vision of this autonomous concept where the car can drive itself, okay? Especially for people like me who are not that fond of driving. This feature might be a dream come true type. So who promoted who reported around 1.3 millions of road accidents every year, which are fatal, right? And hence there's a huge drive to create features which can assist the drivers. For example, emergency braking. That is, a car can apply brake on its own when someone comes in front of the car, right? And similarly, a lot of features is being developed for, yeah, it does, wow. So someone is an automotive engineer as well in this gang. So this is similarly, a lot of features are being developed to assist the drivers. And number 4, connected, C for connected, where car is being called as the mobile on wheels due to this concept, actually. So where you're able to connect the car to the outside world. So a car can be connected to the cloud, a car can be connected to your mobile, and a lot more, guys. So just think about a car, like let's say think about a mobile, in your mobile, you can uninstall and reinstall any feature, right, on the go. So think about such concept in the car. Like if you want this emergency feature, braking feature, you can download and install. If you don't want it, you can just uninstall. So case is a major focus for all the car makers currently right now. In fact, I would say this is just a beginning of the transformation in this case era. Right, so almost every month or a quarter, the automotive engineers are finding new stuff in this field, where car is also being compared as even an extended living space. When I say living space, a home is a living space. An office is a considered as a living space right now. So similarly, in the future, car will be considered as a living space as well, in the near future. So to conclude, I would say we have just touched the tip of an iceberg here. There is a lot to be explored in this field. So guys, do watch out and on what's next. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Paduka, for debunking the myths that we have about the future of automation and travel. Thank you so much. Can we have a big round of applause for Toastmaster Paduka, please? Let me now invite the second evaluator before I invite the second speaker. And the second evaluator for today, evaluating our second speaker, is Toastmaster Mamta Singh. Toastmaster Mamta is one of the newer members of the Gabbys Toastmasters Club, but she is not a new Toastmaster nevertheless. Toastmaster Mamta is a software developer at Cognizant Bangalore. She hails from the steel city of India, Bokaro in Jharkhand. And proudly, she relates that with MS Dhoni, and she's proud it's MS Dhoni's land, and she hopes to meet him one day. Her hobbies are traveling and clicking lots of Instagrammable photos. That's so unlike me. Over to you, Toastmaster Mamta, to introduce the project objectives of the target speaker.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saurav, for the lovely introduction. My target speaker is going to perform her L3 P1 level from effective coaching path. The purpose of this project is for the member to work with a group
To practice reaching consensus on any topic. Speech length, 20-minute exercise, 2 to 3 minute closing statement. Back to you, Modi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mamta. And let me now introduce the second speaker. The second speaker for today, Toastmaster Shaifali Singh. Toastmaster Shaifali is a certified coach, a soft skills trainer, an image consultant with over 13 years of corporate experience in developing people, processes, organizations. She specializes in HRM, executive coaching, soft skills training, and facilitation. She aims to enable transformations through shifts in behavior and personality by coaching and mentoring her clients. Toastmaster Shaifali Singh, to be or not to be, to be or not to be, Toastmaster Shaifali Singh. Over to you, Shaifali.
Thank you, TMOD, Saurav. May I please have the timer also on Spotlight? All right. To be or not to be, that is the question. To be or not to be, that is the question that Shakespeare asked in his famous book, Hamlet. At the core, it means questioning one's existence, whether to be or not to be. However, in today's context, it stands for the numerous decisions we have to make on a day-to-day basis, whether it be this or be that. And decision making is layered, it's complex, even when we have to make a decision for ourselves. And it becomes more complicated when there are multiple people involved. And this brings us to our discussion today. How do we make this group of people arrive at decisions? How do we build consensus? Simply put, consensus is when a group of people who have mutual responsibilities agree on a decision. And if they don't do that, there are two things that can happen. One is compromise, and the other is conflict. And we don't want to be either of these spectrums. So let me tell you the story of status quo. Has anyone heard of it? A raise of hands if you know what status quo means, or what is the story of status quo. Okay. All right, so let me throw some light on this. In the holy city of Jerusalem, there is a so-called immovable ladder in the Church of the Holy Spectre, which has remained there since 1728. And no one knows where it was placed, who placed it. However, the ladder cannot be removed. It cannot be moved even by a single inch, because if that happens, it will literally start a war in that place. So what the status quo is the ladder or any other item in that particular church cannot be moved unless there is a consensus by 6 groups. And as always is, people can't reach consensus on a simple decision on whether the ladder should be moved or not. The ladder has no purpose. It is just lying there. Now, there are 3 parts to this story, essentially. The first is the conflict part. If the ladder is moved, it will cause conflict. The second part is compromise. The very fact that the ladder has been there for over 200 years is a compromise. And the third and the most important part, which is the status quo, is the consensus, where all 6 of the groups have come to an agreement that we will not move anything, we will not change anything unless we have consensus from all 6 groups. And this is why consensus is so important. And the reason I'm talking about this today is because the lack of consensus can have larger repercussions. So now that we understand the purpose of why consensus is important, let us understand why we cannot reach consensus. And there is a very simple reason for it. And that is people. We cannot reach consensus because there are people involved, and people have egos, people have emotions, people have baggage, and they have personalities. And this becomes ever so apparent in organizations. So I have worked in the human resources team for over 14 years now. And during the course of my journey, I have seen a lot of decisions not being taken because there is no consensus. And to give you one example of one of the projects that I was involved in for a real estate organization. Now, let's just understand for a bit how real estate works. There are a lot of interdependencies. To just give you a very quick example, until the land acquisition team acquires the land, the due diligence cannot be done. If the due diligence is not done, the architects cannot design. It's as simple as that. If the architects do not design the building, then the compliance team cannot get permissions from the government authorities. Without permissions, you cannot build. If there is nothing to build, you cannot sell. If there are no sales, then the finance team cannot pay the vendors, cannot pay employees' salaries. If there are no salaries, there is attrition. So all of these interdependencies were taking place. And why it was happening was because everyone was taking individual decisions, working in silos. There was no collective consensus. So as an HR, because of my role as a facilitator, we got everybody in the room and said, okay, now let's have all the stakeholders. Let's see what is it that we need to decide so that we are able to move from this point A to point B and take that informed decision, arrive at a consensus. And they were able to do that, and they were able to find those interdependencies and find better ways of working. So in a lot of my projects that I have done, and even as a trainer now, we do a lot of work around decision making and collaborative working. And one of the tools that I have found very helpful in order to have better decision making is the use of 6 Thinking Hats by Edward de Bono. So if you do get a chance to have a look at it, maybe it will just allow you to make better consensus, better decisions in the next time that you are working in groups. To conclude, I would like to emphasize that working collaboratively and decision making are key life skills for existence. And today you decide whether you are going to be collaborative or not be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shefali. Am I audible? Can you give me a thumbs up? So, Toastmaster Shefali, thank you so much for debunking the myth that you don't need to be a speech crafter before joining a Toastmaster. Toastmaster Shefali was a speech crafter before she became a Toastmaster. And the kind of progress that we have seen in her from a speech crafter to a Toastmaster has been impeccable, even if I put it very conservatively. So thank you for being there and doing this for all of us. Moving on to the third speaker, but before I invite the third speaker, I will be evaluating the third evaluator I will be presenting the introduction of the third evaluator. I'm sorry. Now, but in case of the third evaluator, I will give out the project objectives because this is not a path-based project. So let me first introduce the evaluator and then I'll mention the project objectives and then I'll introduce the speaker. Is that fine, Dolly?
Yeah, sure. DTM Saurav, yeah.
So our third speaker is Toastmaster Dolly Krishnappa. She has 15 years of experience in the retail industry and works for Jessie Penny as an analytics manager. She loves to spend time with her little daughter. She's a yoga and travel enthusiast and in her free time likes to read non-fiction books. Now coming to our third speaker. Our third speaker today is not attempting a path-based project because what he's going to practice in front of us is, hold your breath, it is a district speech practice that he's going to do, right? And this is because he has already won at the division level and is now going to be speaking at the district. So Toastmaster Dolly, you have the privilege of evaluating a division champion going to the district level. And all of us have the responsibility of sending any particular feedback that you have to me directly over a PM, which I will pull it and send to Abhishek for his consumption and implementation wherever he feels necessary. So I will be not giving any introduction of the speaker for the simple reason we are doing it in a contest format. So I'll only be giving out the speaker's name and the speech title. Speaker number 3, Abhishek Mitra. What's the point? What's the point? Abhishek Mitra, speaker number 3. I'm sorry, I did not do an AV check. Sorry, right, Abhishek. We'll do an AV check first and then we'll again do this. Okay, Abhishek, please repeat after me. Today is a good day. 1, 2, 3.
Today is a good day. 1, 2, 3. Am I audible?
Can you do it with gestures, please?
Today is a good day. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Dolly, you can see the background.
Yes, yes.
You can see the gestures with the blurred background. It's okay.
I'll just change the, I'll stop the blurring just a minute.
I think it's better you stop it.
Yeah, sure. Is it visible now? Better now?
Better.
Yes, yeah.
Can we repeat it once more?
Today is a good day. 1, 2, 3. Visible?
Evaluator and timer, please confirm. You can hear the speaker and see the speaker.
Yes, I can hear and I can see the speaker.
Okay. Dolly, you too? Okay, great.
Yes, yeah.
Speaker 3, Abhishek Mitra. What's the point? What's the point? Abhishek Mitra, speaker 3.
You read my mind, but you got my name wrong. What is the point of having a meeting at 11 a.m. on a Saturday when you can't even see or hear your audience? Good morning, distinguished audience. I am Cynical Sen, a probable future Toastmaster, and I'm here to share my trauma-filled experience as a guest in a Toastmasters meeting. That day was a Saturday too, and the theme of that day was minimalism. The Toastmaster of the day started his presentation and read out a 200-word long explanation and background of the word minimalism from a PowerPoint presentation with the background music, which took 2 minutes to load. Having a Toastmaster of the day is like putting an aspiring TED Talk speaker to host a meeting. They will share their deep research about something they're passionate about and eat up 18 minutes of the meeting time. After this not so minimal ordeal, said the most cliche stuff possible. The next role player needs no introduction. And then goes on to introduce them for 5 minutes from his PowerPoint again, which takes 2 minutes to load. The person he introduced came with 20 pins on his blazer. For a moment, I thought, oh my God, this must be a decorated army general. He wasn't. Don't we know all the managers at our work who gets the work done by his team of 3 or 4 members and forwards those emails and just adds a little feedback on top, like sprinkling cilantro on a dish and calling themselves a chef. That's how a general evaluator is, ladies and gentlemen. But I was saddened to see his team's condition even more. Poor fellows, made to do work which has no point. The grammarians seem to be more excited about the word of the day than grammar. And the word of the day that day was pleonasm. Pleonasm means it's an unnecessary phrase which makes no sense or value addition. You don't say, you should talk to the Toastmaster of the day. Well, for Toastmasters, I felt pleonasm is a more exciting word ending with ASM than other words. Coming to ahs and ums, what's the point of measuring them? That's a part of the character for some. Like a wolf howling on a full moon night, or a doctor scribbling a prescription, which is the equivalent of ahs and ums, or a pilot talking to himself in the closed cockpit. This is your captain speaking. We are going on over elevation of you don't care over a city you don't know, and we'll land. We'll land a little late. Well, a pilot may not land a plane smoothly or be on time, but he needs to be an master. That's the essential qualification. Speaking of time, the timer in a Toastmasters meeting reminded me of one thing, "Main samay hu," I am time, from B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata in my childhood and Dr. Strange with his time stone in my adulthood. But once he started showing what he does, I felt so sorry for him. He just swaps between gray, green, yellow, red cards. Divinity has been reduced to basic color swaps. Then started the speeches. While introducing the speaker, we got to know that he has explored 11 paths in one life. Well, a cat gets 9 lives to explore 9 different philosophies in life. This person has already explored 11. Is he a sage or is he just confused? He started his speech by saying, "Raise your hand if everyone asks you to raise your hand." And when he saw no responses from the black boxes, he said, "I hope you are all agreeing to me. Ladies in the room, I totally get how you feel when some random stranger pings you on your inbox saying, 'Hey, good morning, free to meet? You are looking good. So we are basically dating now, aren't we?' I totally get how you feel now." After the speech, I saw the next person came grooving like a black mamba snake. I realized she was just trying to look for people to call up on stage, to talk impromptu on topics such as a line is a dot that went for a walk. No. In class 7, I learned that a line is an infinitely long object with no width, depth, or curvature. What's the point of making me learn new things now? But just a while later, I was put in a spot of bother. Madam Table Topics Master asked me, "Mr. Cynical Sen, we can also have guests participate in this segment. Would you like to try out the topic?" I thought, what's the point of asking me? Actually, ma'am, to be sincerely honest, in my humble opinion, without offending anyone who thinks differently from my point of view and without hiding any thoughts in my mind and having a nervous yet thumping heart, I just want to say I have absolutely nothing to say. Wonderful audience and Toastmaster of the day. This is Abhishek. Cynical Sen just hijacked my stage, but I feel for him. Haven't we all been there? Like guest Cynical Sen, judging whatever is happening around us silently, but not being able to communicate eloquently in our initial Toastmaster days as a guest or a new Toastmaster. The onus is on us as Toastmasters to look beyond those critical eyes and help such guests overcome their hesitation so that they can eloquently speak and evaluate instead of silently criticizing, and so that they end up saying, "Now I get the point and I'm here to stay. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Abhishek. Can we have a big round of applause for Toastmaster Abhishek? But more than the applause, what he needs and we want you to do is send me a one line or a couple of lines of feedback on what he could have done better in his speech. Okay, so we are here to help him with the feedback, and feedback is the breakfast, lunch, and dinner of the champions. Okay, so before I move on with the evaluation, start with the evaluation, let me state a few facts about what is a speech contest, particularly for people who are not Toastmasters here, who are new to Toastmasters. So a speech contest starts with at the club level, and in some districts it happens for international speech contest, table topic, humorous speech contest, evaluation speech contest. There are various kind of contests, but international speech contest is one that happens standard across all the districts. That has to happen. The others are optional. So the international speech contest starts at a club level. You win at the club level, then you go to the area level. You win at the area level, then you go to the division level and you win at the division level. And then you go to the district level. And if you win at the district level, you go to the region quarterfinals. From there, you go to the world semifinals. And from there, you bring home the crown to India of the world champion of public speaking. Sounds exciting? So you have to dive into this year. If you're already not a division contestant, probably have missed the bus. Next year, don't miss the bus. Get ready to kind of get into this, because it really, really, really is worth it. And while we are on it, the Gabbys also has got a division contest coming up, and we have got not one, but two contestants at the international speech contest at Division B contest on Monday, 1st of May. Please join us online. If you've already not registered, please do register. We also have another division contestant who has won at the division level and gone to the district level of District 80, which is Toastmaster Bala Venkat. So basically at the Gabbys, we have got now 3 contestants competing at the division level and beyond. And today we heard a speech by another division champion. Great going. And with this, let me now introduce the table topic master as we start the table topic section. The table topic master has given a very brief introduction about himself. He's a full stack Microsoft.NET developer in Travelopia and a tech trainer. History and movie buff, loves listening to music and always tries to be the best version of himself. Thank you so much. Our table topic master, Toastmaster Karthik Venugopal. Before I ask Karthik to take the stage, test our impromptu skills, let me invite his evaluator, Toastmaster Lakshmi Sujata. Why his evaluator? Because he is also doing a project from the Toastmaster Pathways. And the evaluator for Toastmaster Karthik is Toastmaster Lakshmi. Toastmaster Lakshmi is a soft skills trainer who enjoys public speaking, acting, and the stage is a comfort zone. And I can totally agree to that. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going is a go-to mantra. I agreed with that as well. A travel enthusiast, soft skills trainer by profession, an artist by heart, and a period educator by choice. Over to you, Toastmaster Lakshmi Sujata.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. So when you read the last part of my introduction, there was another person also smiling along with me.
Yeah,
that
so I just thought that you guys exchanged your professions, and then I realized that the introductions were exchanged while they were coming to me.
Yeah, that's okay.
Got mixed up in transit.
No issues. I just could see her smile all the way through. So thank you so much. And a very good morning to all the lovely Toastmasters present here. The target speaker today, Toastmaster Karthik, is attempting his project on active listening. And the purpose of this project is for the member to demonstrate his or her ability to listen to what others say. Because in today's world, most of us are filled with a lot of noise in our head that we fail to listen. So I'm wishing Toastmaster Karthik all the very best as he takes the table topic session ahead. And I'll see you after the session. Thank you.
That sounded more like a threat. I'll see you after the session, but Karthik, it was said in light humor. Don't take it seriously. With this, let me introduce the table topic master once again, Toastmaster Karthik Venugopal as the table topic master. Over to you, Dr.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, for that warm introduction. So the ability to think and speak spontaneously is an important and valuable skill, both in personal and professional space. Table topics provide you an opportunity to practice impromptu thinking and impromptu speaking skill. It helps develop confidence in public speaking and also refines your communication skills. So before starting the session, let me take you to the ground rules of this session. Each table topic speaker gets 10 seconds to think before they start speaking on the given topic. So make good use of those 10 seconds to organize your thoughts. The timer will only start after your first word. You must speak minimum for 1 minute to qualify, but you can go up to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. The timer screen will be provided with the respective cards. Try to use the word of timer will be given with the respective cards. So Gabbys presents the table topic session, what if in perspective of anything and everything in this world. So what if? Let me give an demo of this thing. So let's say, what if I'm camera? I should speak as if I'm camera. Over to you, camera. Hi, Toastmasters and guests. I'm camera, camera. And my purpose of life is to show your beautiful faces to the world. And you can even use filters. But right now, I'm feeling very sad because many of you are not using my purpose of life by switching off camera. I hand over it back to you, TTM Karthik. So this is the theme, and I hope many of you are excited to attempt such table topics. So as you just saw, I poured live to camera. So Toastmasters and guests, get ready to speak on such topics. And I need a volunteer now to take up the first topic. So fulfill your purpose of your hand by raising your hand. Is anyone up here to take the first topic, the brave heart?
Karthik, before going this one, I just wanted to understand like timer, what card and what time I have to show.
Okay, so at 1 minute you will be showing green card. At 2 minutes, at 1 minute you'll be showing green card. At 1 minute 30 seconds you will be showing the yellow card, and at 2 minutes you'll be showing the red card.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So any volunteer now have to pick up someone. Dhwani, you will take the first table topic.
Okay, surely.
Yeah.
But before I take it up, can you just again tell me what exactly we're supposed to do, if you quickly can tell me?
Yeah. So I'll be sharing my presentation where I'll be showing your image, and based on that image, you should speak as if you are that image, the picture. Okay. So can I get the sharing rights?
Yeah, just give me a minute. I'll do so.
Yeah.
Done, Karthik.
Yeah. So I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, Dhwani, here is a topic for you. What if you are an Oscar award? What would be your emotions as an Oscar award? Over to you. You can take 10 seconds to think.
Okay, can I begin?
Yeah.
And I go to. This is always the statement that I get as an Oscar award, that there are people who are waiting deliberately to want me. But do I want to go to people? That's a question mark. Do I want to exactly go to a particular person and a particular house? Nobody even asks me what I want. I am always a choice that people have, but then what about me? What about my choices? I have always been, as an Oscar award, I have to only do one thing, is to just stand as a statue and just glorify me and glorify myself. Look how stunning I look. But then what about me? Everybody wants me, but do I want to go? Do I want something in life? Nobody thinks of that, right? I'm sure you all must be agreeing to it. If I tell you that Toastmaster, let's say Sri Lakshmi. Now, are you somebody who wants an Oscar award? Yes, you want, right? Now, What about me? Do I want to go to you? Huh, that's a question mark. Like, what to do? I mean, seriously. So I feel that as an Oscar award, even as an Oscar, with such an high award, right? Now, with that, I feel even my emotions has to be taken into consideration. It's not always about what others think. It's also about what I feel and what I think. So that's my take on this particular topic. And thank you, Toastmaster Karthik. Back to you.
So here are the results. And the Oscar goes to Dwani. Such a beautiful insights, Dwani. And yeah, so it's always a great thing. Like people also should be thinking about Oscar as well. The emotions which you displayed are very well. That even Oscar has some emotions. Like it has. People also should be thinking like what Oscar award needs. So such a beautiful insights. Thank you so much, Dwani. So let's move on to the next topic. So any volunteer here to take up the next topic?
Karthik, I
Jitendra.
can try.
Yeah, okay, sure. Thank you. So here is the next topic for you. What if you are a baby on the Parle-G biscuit wrapper? You can see the image of the baby on the Parle-G biscuit wrapper and feel what is she trying to tell. Over to you, Jitendra.
Thank you, Karthik. I think this is the packet which I have always grown up as a kid. And this is always a dream whenever my parents used to give, 5 rupees. And this is the only packet which I can afford during that time. As a baby, I always thought that when I'm going to eat the biscuits, but it's always on display. For me, I have to be a torch bearer so that people can taste, but then I can only see their faces, how they are chewing, and what is their feeling. And of course, all the children are excited, to taste the Parle-G biscuits, but whereas adults, they think it's only for children. So that's the that's the difference what they made with this packet. And I always wonder why adults are not trying and why they're only refraining to the kids when I can provide the same flavor, same taste, and same energy to adults as well. And now the current scenario where most of the people are thinking that this is the poor people biscuits and not giving the so much value what it was earlier. And slowly with the time, and I'm losing the importance what it was earlier. So I feel really disheartening to see the how we have progressed over the years, that we are not appreciating from where we started. So with that, I feel that still I'm relevant in the current scenario, and it will be always the case. But I feel the moment we grow rich, people start moving to some other and better choices. I think you should not forget your roots from where you started. So this is the choice we have. And I always wonder why people are, just thinking that this is a poor people's snack, not for a rich one, but still I provide the nutrients to the same kids everywhere. Yeah, with that, thanks, Karthik. It's quite interesting, and I'm missing my old memories as well.
Thank you, Jitendra. And of course, the reason of choosing this topic is I had this doubt, like since I was baby, like what is this baby trying to say? And you cleared those doubts, saying that yes, this Parle-G biscuit wrapper is not only for the poor people, even anyone can have it. And this Parle-G biscuit has a lot of emotions with our childhood, and you showed it as that. Thank you so much. So let's move on to the next volunteer. Anyone here who can take up the next topic? Yeah, Pranav. Hi. Okay, so can you come on camera if possible? Yeah, you can unmute yourself. So here is the next topic for you. What if you are washing powder Nirma, the veteran Nirma washing powder? Over to you.
Can you just explain again? I just missed that.
Okay, what if you are clothes washing powder Nirma, the veteran washing powder? What would be your emotions?
Emotion as the girl?
No, as washing powder.
Okay. I am not new. I have been here for past 50 years, maybe 30 years. But now nobody wants me. I was an emotion of a generation. I used to come in the ad of television as that you could see that little girl who was like a fairy girl. And then you would be tempted to buy me. But now you are all not wanting me. You are going for other brand. Why? Why not me? I was as pure and as pristine as anyone could be. I used to make your clothes so neat. Why are you going for other brand? Yes, technology will come. Lot of technologies will come where you may not have to wash with my powder or anything. It may make you whiter. But I was there for your 50 years, right? Last 50 years. Why don't you want me? If you don't want me, or if you want a modification of me, you could suggest better modifications of me, right? Why are you just avoiding me? I feel so sad. Very sad. Maybe I will tell more better if you could actually give more suggestions of me. Go and file a complaint if you have any problems with me. Why don't you do that? If you do that, I would serve you better. I would wash your clothes very clean. And then I will be the best brand in the market. Right? So help me. Please help me. I want to be the best brand in the market. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranav, for those beautiful inputs. And you just spoke like a salesperson of washing powder, Nirma. And that, as you said, it's been like 50 years, and we have been seeing those ads when through our childhood, like how washing powder, Nirma, has been a part of our life for so many years. And also, you said that now many of us are not using, so let's use washing powder, Nirma, for our washing clothes. So let's move on to the next topic. Any volunteer? So I think I should call now. Okay, Toastmaster Priya. Toastmaster Priya, could you please come on camera if possible? Thank you. So here is the next topic.
Am I visible and audible?
Yes, you're visible and audible. So the next topic for you is, what if you are COVID-19 virus? So which actually made a big impact in our lives, ruining our lives for 2 or 3 years. But let us understand even its emotions. Over to you.
I started slowly, just peeked out a little bit from that lab. I'm not going to say where, it's a secret location. Just a tiny little peek. And the first person I saw was so attractive that I immediately jumped on him. Wow, what a delight it was. I grew so rapidly, I had so many brothers and sisters. I multiplied and multiplied until my colony was so strong. The person coughed a lot. I don't mind. He was a good host. He gave me a lot of food, a lot of energy. And then he did the most amazing thing. He met with his friends, and I got new homes. I was delighted in fun traveling and getting new hosts. And I spread a lot. I engulfed the entire city just like that. And my desires grew. Yes, you're right, I am greedy. I am not ashamed to accept it. I spread to the entire country. And still, it was not enough. The world was my target. I kept on and on. The more you meet your friends, the more I spread. And I wreaked havoc through the world. You can't even see me with your own eyes, but do you know how powerful I am? And that, my friends, I'd love to meet you all again. But then there were a few so-called pharmacists and scientists who developed a vaccine against me. I Really don't like them. They diminished my expansion. And now I'm reduced to nothing. If you guys are going to be like this, I don't think I can come again in this world. But I'm going to try my best. You do your best. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Priya. Give a round of applause to Priya. And I really didn't even think that even COVID has such emotions. Yeah, it's powerful, which ruined our life for almost 2.5 years. And hopefully it doesn't come back. And I really like the thoughts and inputs you put out. Like, I mean, those are really out of the box thinking, just you said. Thank you, Toastmaster Priya. So let's
Thank you.
move. Thank you. So let's move on to the next topic. Any volunteer up for the next topic? So I think I should call upon Paduka. You want to take the next topic?
I'm ready.
Okay. Toastmaster Pongal Punita is ready. Fine. So the next topic for you is, what if you are Ralph C. Smedley, the founder of Toastmasters International? So what are his emotions? Bring back him today. Speak in your own words. Over to you.
Wow, what a platform. Looking back these many years, where have we come? But still, have we reached those little small towns, those underdeveloped areas of some countries like India? Have we reached? I'm hearing from people like educationists telling that they come to know of this Toastmasters only at the age of 50. Haven't we taken it to the schools? Haven't we taken it to the colleges? Haven't we taken it to the universities? Are we still satisfied with the oldies who are just getting out of their lives into it? What did I think about? Didn't I think about the younger generation? My dear Toastmasters, take it to the schools, take it to the educational institutions, take it to the universities. You know, you have feeling in your lives that you have missed out just because you did not communicate your emotions, your ideas, your plans effectively. Haven't you had such experiences? Why do you want that experience to be experienced by your younger generation? Come on, get out, get set, move on, get into the world, do that work. I started it. You're taking it further. Plunge in, give it more, give it again, give it deeply, make it happen. You can, you will, and you must. Back to you, TTN.
Awesome. Please give a big round of applause to Toastmaster Pongal Punita. And as you can see that today we are gathering in such an environment, and it is the creation of Toastmaster Ralph C. Medley. So, and as you said, yeah, Toastmasters should be actually introduced to schools, colleges, so that even they get opportunity to be a better speaker, better human, and a better leader. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pongal Punita, for your inputs. Thank you. So let's move on to the next topic. So anyone up here?
The table topic master, I just posted a note on the chat to make this the last topic.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Yeah, we are behind time on the agenda.
Okay, so this will be the last topic. So anyone up here to take the last topic? I think Nitesh, you want to take it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, fine, cool. What if you are a mango? Think, what are the emotions of mango? Over to you, Nitesh.
Yeah. See, mango, as everybody know, I am the king of fruits. Everyone loves to, have mango, and there are so many varieties of mango. So, but I want to be there all the season, throughout the year. Why? For just few months. and I want to be rule throughout the air as a king of fruits. That's all I think.
Okay. Fine. Thank you, Nitesh, for that participation. Yes, but the problem is we cannot have mangoes all the seasons. So it is only the summer season. So you have the right opportunity just to grab mangoes and feel the emotions of mango. Thank you all. Thank you for your participation. It was a great, wonderful session, and I think you all enjoyed it. Back to you, Toastmaster DTM Saurabh.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Karthik Venugopal. What we will do now is we will launch the polls, and while we do the polls, I'll also keep on debunking a few myths. Okay, we are doing the best table topic polls first. Okay. So what are some of the other myths that we have in Toastmasters, within Toastmasters, about Toastmasters? So one of the most common myths that I have found is that in Toastmasters, we have the same hierarchical organization that we see in the corporate. So there are clubs which report to the areas which report to the divisions which report to the districts. And the districts roll up to the regions rolls up to the international headquarters. The reality is that Toastmaster follows the principle of inverse pyramid, where the clubs are at the top. So the clubs don't report to the areas, or the areas don't report to the division. It's the clubs which are being empowered, which are providing us the members that we need. So anything and everything that we do as a district, it comes from the clubs, whether it's the funds, the members. We don't exist if the clubs don't exist. So, and that's why in Toastmasters, it is important for us to understand that the member and the clubs come first. Everything else comes second. So this is one myth that is very important for us to debunk and understand. Okay. With this, I would now close this poll. It's closed, and we will now move on to the general evaluation section. And for that, I'm going to be inviting the general evaluator back to the stage, distinguished Toastmaster Rohit Reddy. Over to you, G.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Saurabh Datta. So I'll quickly proceed on to the prepared speech evaluations. I will be calling on the first prepared speech evaluator, Toastmaster Sri Lakshmi. Toastmaster Sri Lakshmi, over to you.
Thank you, GE, for calling me. Congratulations, my target speaker, Toastmaster Paduka, for delivering a successful speech. As soon as I received your speech title, I got very excited. What the speech would be? What the speech would be? It about research and presentation. Now coming to the evaluation, I will evaluate in 3 seconds. 3 sections. Sorry. First section, you are very excellent. You want to work upon and to challenge yourself. Paduka, you are very excellent at delivering a successful speech. You connected as soon as you started the speech, you connected with the audience. You asked questions. Everyone got asked, as we know, when someone asks questions about car, everyone gets excited. Everyone loves cars. Everyone loves to answer about such kind of topics. Car, what you like about cars, this kind of things. And you researched a lot about cars. I loved a lot about it. You're very excellent. And I know more. Some people, ladies, think that women mostly think that we do only driving is sufficient. People like me, we shouldn't know the features. We shouldn't think about that. What are these kind of things? But you are very excellent in it. Now coming to this, you want to work upon. I felt that you lost. In the beginning, in between, you should have interact in between, and at last also you should have kept interacting with the audiences. What would you do if you introduce the new features come? What would you? What is that your preference? Well, you have any more ideas? This kind of things you should have asked. Some audience mind might be also it keeps running in audience mind also. So in future, what kind of car comes? This kind. So you should have asked. You would have got more ideas also. And last thing, you want to challenge yourself. I felt little bit you should have you are excelled, you are experienced Toastmaster, you are more senior than me. I felt that you are looking at camera, but some people might think you should be careful about that. You are reading the script, so you should be careful about that. Only that thing I felt you should have worked out. You should have been little bit careful. Overall, it's a great speech. Lot of takeaway for me. I other than the driving, I don't know anything about cars, so it's a lot of takeaway for me. Thank you. Congratulations for delivering the speech. Go to you, G.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sri Lakshmi, for your evaluation. What I loved about your evaluation is that you were very specific when it came to recommendations. You pointed out what exactly the speaker needs to do in order to improve her speech. And if I had to give you one small recommendation, Toastmaster Sri Lakshmi, it would be that to conclude in an effective way, like tell what are all the good points and what are all the areas of recommendation in bullet points and summarize it, because that's also is an important part of an evaluation, to summarize effectively. Other than that, a very well delivered evaluation. Coming to Toastmaster Paduka, the speaker one, what I absolutely loved is that it was, in spite of it being a topic which is a bit technical, or not technical, a bit not known to us, a bit detailed, and something not so conversational, you maintained the conversational style of delivery. It was not like someone coming us and flooding us with details. It was like having a conversation, and that I think you maintained really well in your speech. And adding one more recommendation to your evaluator would be that you can explain the features that you had in a bit more detailed fashion, because most of us, this topic is unknown to us. So I think that's the only recommendation to add on to your evaluator. Otherwise, a very well delivered evaluation and speech. Can we have a round of applause for both the speaker and the evaluator? Now, this is one thing which I do as a general evaluator to make sure that you guys are listening. I ask for reactions after every speech and evaluation. Can I have a heart react for both the speaker and the evaluator who has delivered? Thank you so much. And now I proceed on to the second evaluator, that is Toastmaster Mamta. Toastmaster Mamta, if you can deliver your evaluation.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Rohit. To my target speaker, Toastmaster Sefali. You excelled at vocal clarity. Like throughout your speech, I was able to understand each and every word, what you were speaking. Pronunciation was good. You excelled at that. Second is the voice modulation. In the beginning of the speech, to be or not to be. To be or not to be. That voice modulation was great. Congratulations that you are doing a very good voice modulation. Third point is the real estate example. Like how you took the example of the real estate, how the different layer of people work there. You took the example of architect, government, compliance team, finance team, and the people at the end who are going to get the salary. How consensus is required within the group, how team collaboration is required within the group. That was a very good example to engage the audience. That was good. I like the fact that you asked the audience, do you know how real estate works? I like that question. That is a great trick to engage the audience back. That was good. Coming to the improvement points. Through the purpose of the speech was to practice researching consensus on any topic. So I was expecting the live discussion over here. That's why the speech length was 20 minutes with 2 to 3 minutes of closing statement. But your entire speech was drafted in a one-way communication of 5 to 7 minutes. So the speech should be aligned with the objective of your project. Second point of the improvement is the hand gestures. Like you were sitting on a chair and giving your speech. Even though you are doing the hand gestures, I was able to see half of your hand, like till here. So one suggestion, if you would have stood back in front of your screen, we would have been in a better position to see your entire body language along with this hand gestures, because the half of your hand were coming. So that is the suggestion. So these are the overall points I wanted to highlight in your speech. Hope you are going to inculcate, and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mamta. It was a very good evaluation, and you also pointed out the specific things that the speaker had to work upon, and also told what she excelled at. If I had to give you a recommendation, it would be to like add few more lines in the beginning, because if you can greet the audience and also kind of give an overview of the speech, of what the speech was all about, because that definitely adds in contests, because that's something which judges tend to look out how active you were a listener, like by overviewing that speech in the beginning and also at the end. So that's one thing you can work upon. Otherwise, very well delivered evaluation. Coming to the speaker, Toastmaster Shefali, if I'm not pronouncing the name correctly, and I really loved your speech, and your evaluator has almost covered all the points. My only recommendation is that, if possible, like the blur background, instead of that, you can go for a plain background, because the blur background is something like it works for some people, it doesn't work for some people. But if you're contesting, it's better to avoid the blur background, because your hand gestures and everything also get cut sometimes. So that's one thing you can work upon. Otherwise, a very well delivered speech and evaluation. Now, can I have a heart react again to make sure that you're listening? So, ladies and gentlemen, now I proceed on to the third evaluator. So, Toastmaster Dolly, you can take over.
Thank you, G. Rohit. First of all, many congratulations to my target speaker, Toastmaster Abhishek. I really want to commend Abhishek on your excellent humorous speech delivery. Personally, I felt overall your timing was spot on, and throughout your vocal variety was really good, the modulations and even the body language. I'll come to body language a little later, but because the timing and the vocal variety, I felt really enhanced the humor in your speech. Coming to the delivery, starting from your title, what is the point? I felt it's a very apt title. And then you started with something like you read my mind, but you got my name wrong, where the humor started in the beginning itself. And in terms of if I have to look at the relevance of your speech, the jokes, I felt it was really very, very relevant, and everybody could connect to. What is the point of having meeting at 11 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday morning, where probable future Toastmaster thinking through different roles in the meeting. It was a very interesting topic, at least for me. And once you started, I felt it kind of flew, like the flow was natural. I didn't feel the humor was kind of forced. It was quite natural. And I felt overall you used comparative humor for every role, like for the Toastmaster of the day, you said something like the aspiring TEDx speaker planning to host, and how they eat up 80 minutes of the meeting, and there was sarcasm used as a humor. A lot of comparison, like you said, for one of the role, G role, 20 pins on his blazer, decorated like army general. That was really funny as it got further when you introduced grammarian role. It's like a doctor scribbling a prescription and a pilot speaking from cockpit. A lot of comparison, and I really liked your, especially when you were talking about the pilot speaking from cockpit. You changed the voice modulation was really to the role, and also you spoke about someone pinging a stranger, random stranger pinging. I feel like I think it's like you try to imitate in a female voice. There also I really liked your voice modulation. Overall, I felt that it was very original and unique. You took a very familiar topic, but you put your own spin on it, and that kind of kept the audience engaged and entertained throughout the speech, is what I believe. I enjoyed your speech, but however, I found few aspects few areas where I thought you could improve. I have a couple of first. I said I could see you in the beginning, but as you started, I realized that I couldn't see you completely. Even your hand gestures only, I couldn't see only just the top portion of your body, not the, at least I couldn't see half of your body as well. Maybe you could go a little behind the camera. My bad as well. I should have told, I couldn't see completely. That I realized as you went. And I also felt that your pacing was a bit uneven in the sense there were times when you rushed through your punchline and other times you took time, I mean, little long to get to the next joke. I mean, it was kind of challenging for me to grasp the joke. Like as you progress, the pacing was a bit uneven. And in terms of jokes, of course, it was amusing, but I felt it heavily relied on like single type of humor. Mostly it was like a comparative humor. Maybe you can incorporate a more variety, like more observation, real life, everyday life examples, or a physical humor, or some irony, add a little bit of variety. And I felt your conclusion could have been even more impactful. Like you ended something like how this cynical Toastmaster, I mean, prospective Toastmaster hijacked your stage. And all of us think about not being able to communicate eloquently. A little bit twist and humor towards the end would definitely help. So in conclusion, you did an excellent job. Your delivery, originality, relevancy, everything spot on. Please remember to add a little more variety to the type of jokes and pay a little more attention to the pace. That would really help you to take your speech to the next level. I look forward to hearing you more in the future meetings. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Dolly, for your evaluation. It was very detailed and you gave very, very good points for the speaker to work upon and also pointed out things that he excelled at. If I had to give you a few recommendations, it would be that just the timing aspect of it, because it was already red card and the summary didn't come up quite like at the right time. And also that when you like, if you have points and examples to speak upon, I noticed that one aspect that you spoke about voice modulation, then went on to another point, and then during that you also described voice modulation where he excelled at again. So if you can structure it well and just keep all the examples of voice modulation in the beginning, or like whenever you're speaking about voice modulation, that would be more clear for the audience and the speaker himself to understand. So those are the few things to work upon. Otherwise, a very detailed evaluation. Coming to distinguished Toastmaster Abhishek, I really liked, like I've heard the speech before as well. So I really liked this new version that you churned out, and also the online part of it. I've heard it in person and now it's an online. So you changed few script here and there. So I think they were in place and it really worked out. My only recommendation, if I had to give you, is that the clarity. I think since this is a new speech, it's not as well rehearsed as the old ones. So if you can just practice more and more, and it'll be flawless, and the clarity would be even better in your speech. So I think that's all I had to say about the third speaker and the evaluator. Can we have a round of applause for both the third speaker and the evaluator? Now, I will quickly take reports from the LTAG team, and then I'll proceed on to the table topics master evaluation, and the speakers I'll evaluate in brief. So can I have the timers report for the evaluators, please?
Yeah, thank you, Rohit, Rohit, for the report. So I'm ready with the report. I will go first with the table topic, where most of the folks has covered within the time. Yodhwani completed his speech on 1 minute 50 seconds. Jitendra completed 1.50 seconds. Pranav Potan, he has also completed in 1 minute 50 seconds. TM Priya overshoot. She completed her table topic at 2 minutes 19 seconds. Pongal Punita, she completed in 1 minute 43 seconds. And Nitesh was not qualified because he has speak about only 37 seconds. So this is all about timer for the table topic. Second, yeah. Should I go for the speaker and level? Yeah. So now I will go with the speaker, where Paduka Kannan was on time. She has very well managed the time and she completed speech in 6 minutes 22 seconds. Shefali Singh, she overshoot 7 minutes 41 seconds, and TM Abhishek 6.51 seconds. Evaluator section, where all has managed their time very well. Sri Lakshmi 2 minutes 22 seconds. Mamta Singh 2 minutes 24 seconds. Dolly, you overshoot a long. You was 4 minutes 46 seconds. Yeah, that's all for the timer result for today.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pavan. Now can I have the R counter to present for his report, please, Toastmaster Ankit.
We can't hear Ankit. I think there's some problem.
Are you
with
speaking
you,
something?
right? Ankit, we can't hear you. Are you saying something?
Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Now we can hear you and see your screen as well. Continue, please.
Sorry, there was some issue with my headset. So here is the report for disfluencies I have observed today. So I will just keep this screen off for 30 seconds so you can just have a look. I think. Thanks, everyone. I will stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ankit. You can stop sharing, I guess.
I think I stopped sharing now.
Is his screen still visible? Did he stop sharing? Because I can share his screen. See it? Yeah, I think.
I have stopped the screen share.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Ankit, for keeping a detailed note on how we used the various sounds and also the crutch words and filler sounds that we use. So thank you so much for your detailed report. Now can I have the grammarian Toastmaster Pongal Punita with her report, please?
Thank you, Toastmaster Rohit. I'm sharing my screen again. Okay, so I didn't know, I'm sorry, I didn't know that at Gabbys you don't follow word of the day, but I had a call, but since Bala Venkat had asked me to go with the word for the day, and I did. And I really thank all people who used the word of the day. First of all, TMOD, DTM Saurav Datta, you used it everywhere, every time. Congratulations, Shefali Singh, Toastmaster Pavan Kumar, and Toastmaster Paduka Kannan have used the word of the day, debunk. And presiding officer, Dwani Deshara, the outstanding words were deliberately and glorified. The phrases, do I want to go to people, stand as a statue, my emotions taken into consideration. And TMOD, DTM Saurav Datta, I had enough number of words. I had to cut down a few words, but some of the words, outstanding words are cult, busting, counterproductive, automation, speechcrafter, empowered. Phrases, lose practice, lose skills, assertive communication becomes aggressive communication. Instagrammable photographs, dive into this, miss the bus. And the quotes, communication is a natural skill. You either have it or you don't. Once a good speaker, always a good speaker. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. And generally evaluated DTM Rohit Reddy, the outstanding words summarized, well delivered, clarity, well rehearsed. Some of the phrases were absolutely loved in detailed fashion, overview of the speech and blur background. Speaker 1, Toastmaster Paduka Kannan, the outstanding words, predominant, emergent, sustainability, emergency break, living space. I'm doing it very fast. I'll be sharing this with you so that you can go into the words. Phrases, once in a century, sustainability in the environment, envision of autonomous concept, beginning of the transformation in this case era, tip of the iceberg. Speaker 2, Toastmaster Shefali Singh. Outstanding words: compromise, conflict, status quo, consensus, repercussions, compliance, interdependencies, collaborative, emphasize, and the phrases, if we did this or that, either side of the spectrum, ever so apparent, arrive at a consensus, and the six thinking hats. Toastmaster Abhishek, outstanding words: cynical, minimalism, elevation, swaps, hijack, eloquently. Phrases: read my mind, eat off, sprinkling calendar on his dish, explore philosophies in life, hope all you agree to me, black mamba snake. And Toastmaster Karthik, TT Master, outstanding words, beautiful insights, phrases, refine your communication skills, organize your thoughts, fulfill your purpose of your life, a part of our lives. And the TT speakers, Toastmaster Jitendra, outstanding word, scenario, phrases always on display. Toastmaster Pranav, modification and phrases, emotion of a generation, nobody wants me, why not me? Toastmaster Priya will come back with more power. Toastmaster Nitesh, modification, phrases, king of fruits. Evaluated 2, Toastmaster Mamta Singh, outstanding words, modulation, gesture, inculcate, phrases, excelled at vocal variety, one-way communication, aligned with the objective. Evaluated 3, Toastmaster Dolly, outstanding words, vocal variety, delivery, relevant, comparative, aspiring, sarcasm, imitation, impactful, originality, spot on. Phrases, flow was natural, sarcasm as humor. Pronunciation, there were some wrongly pronounced words. Project, when you call it as a noun, you say project, you don't say project. When you say project, when you emphasize on the J, it becomes a verb. So project is a noun and project is a verb. And it is repercussion, not repercussion, as the R was pronounced there, and it's compliance, not compliance. And chair, it's somewhere it's chair. Okay, so there was a wrong pronunciation there in the word. And there were some improper usages. Communications, in this context where we're talking about the communication skills, it is only communication, there's no plural. And children's, again, children, more better. Better is already in the comparative degree, so it is better. But, and there are, like, there was a wrong usage of the word. So it is like, they don't come together, but and. Got very excited, the right usages became very excited, very excelled at, you excelled very much at. Audiences, audience is a collective noun, doesn't take a plural, so it is audience. More senior than me, it is senior to me. Lot of takeaways, you use lot only when it is a uncountable noun. So it is when it is countable, it's many takeaways. Little behind the camera, you can say place your camera accordingly. Very well, good points. Good points or very good points, not very well, good points. Spoked. It speaks spoken, not spoked. More clearer, clear. Sorry, more clear, it is clearer. And there are a lot of suggestions, which if you go into the website of Toastmasters International, you have a lot of the usage, which you can go in acronyms, alliteration, assonance, cliche, all such things. If you can go, you get the clarity. And if you can start using it, we will be making the most of our Toastmasters. And thank you. With that, I hand it back to you, Rohit Reddy. I'll be sharing this presentation with you and you can share it in the group. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Punita. I do agree with Toastmaster Mamta. You can easily clear GMAT, GRE, CAT, or whatever exam you want to give right now. So thank you so much for your extremely detailed report and your multitasking capabilities. You were listening, typing continuously. You also came and delivered a TT. It's amazing to see such dedication in Toastmasters. And now I'll be calling the last role player in my team, that is Toastmaster Chitrakshi. Toastmaster Chitrakshi, you can take over.
Good morning, everyone. Today was about debunking myths. There is another myth that I'd like to debunk. As important as listening and speaking is, it's also important to read. And I think I missed out on reading something, and hence I joined a little late. But as a listener today, I have listened to everyone. I have done a good job, I hope. And let's see how many of you were also listening. What was TM Paduka's speech title?
Can I take this?
No, TMOD cannot take this for obvious reasons. Anyone? Once in a century transformation. Okay. What is the word she used for driverless cars?
Tesla.
Sorry?
Tesla. Tesla.
No, that was
Autonomous.
the company. Yes, autonomous. Bokaro is the dash city of India.
Steel City.
Steel City.
Steel city of India. She has 13 years of experience in people and process management. Who is this Toastmaster?
Shifali, Toastmaster Shifali.
Only.
Toastmaster Shifali. Okay. How many groups should agree to move the ladder for the ladder to be moved?
6.
3.
6.
6.
6. Excellent. Who likes to read non-fiction books along with spending time with her daughter? Which Toastmaster?
Dolly.
Toastmaster Dolly. Toastmaster Abhishek described a Saturday morning meeting. What was the theme of this meeting?
Minimalism.
Minimalism. Losing my value over the years. Who said this? In his table topics.
Yeah, Nirma. Jitendra.
Okay, this was Toastmaster Jitendra for the Parle-G kid. I am not new, but over the years, nobody wants me anymore. Please get me back. Who said this?
This for washing powder, Nirma.
Toastmaster, Toastmaster Pranav. The more you meet your friends, the more I spread. Who said this?
Priya.
Priya.
Toastmaster Priya. We haven't reached the smaller towns of the lesser developed countries. Who said this? Excellent. Toastmaster Pongal Punita. Who said people like me only think about driving cars, but it's more than that?
Sri Lakshmi.
Excellent. Toastmaster Sri Lakshmi. With that, I believe most of you have listened. Some of you haven't, but it's okay. For next time, then, that's what we need to improve as Toastmaster. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Chitrakshi, for your report. I'll prefer my general feedbacks on the meeting and table topic speakers I'll be touching upon in brief. I will invite, before that, the table topic masters evaluator, Toastmaster Lakshmi. So Toastmaster Lakshmi, you can take over and present your evaluation.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Rohit Reddy. So today in my evaluation, I would be focusing on the project that the target speaker or the TTM has attempted, which is active listening. So my main focus area would be on the active listening part of it, rather than how he performed as a table topic master. Now, it is very important as a listener to, what do I say? There are 3 simple steps. Let me call it the LUR. That is to listen, understand, and rephrase. And in today's meeting, what I saw is Toastmaster Karthik was an excellent listener. Why do I feel he was an excellent listener? Because of from his body language, his gestures, and most importantly, how he was able to catch important phrases from the speakers and put it across to the audience again. So that was one key point as a listener that you were able to achieve today. Another thing that I really liked was most of the cases, or rather I would say, I think in 2 of these topics that was given to you, which you heard and you spoke, you were able to understand the in-depth meaning of the speaker, what the speaker was trying to say, and you were able to rephrase it and put it across to the audience. So as a listener, you did an excellent job in these 3 categories, which is listen, understand, and rephrase. Now coming to a few points of improvement that you may work on as a listener. One important thing as a listener is sometimes when the speaker gets stuck, we all have this mind block. You can give them a slight nudge. And when you give them that slight nudge, probably they might be able to speak up more. I wish you had done that with the last speaker. A little bit of nudge, a little bit of encouragement. Yes. The second one is, as a speaker and a listener, sometimes you need to speak a little slow. It was excellent that you gave an example right at the beginning, explaining how this entire table topic session is going to be. However, if you notice, there were at least 2 or 3 participants who still wanted to understand how to do it. I think if that example, you had mentioned it slightly slower, it would have, created a better impact. Last but not the least, I would like to say that you have excelled as a listener and you were able to incorporate the LUR in your feedback and in your overall project. And I would like to congratulate you on completing this project. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lakshmi, for your very crisp yet very detailed evaluation for the table topic master. And I think you covered all the points that I had for the table topic master written. And if I had to add on to something additionally that you've said for the table topic master is that I guess he missed to give a reminder for the word of the day use. I think that is also a best practice that we can implement, because that's something very important to remind the speakers once again before table topics to use the word of the day. I think the evaluation that you delivered was perfect. And do we have the polls for the evaluators right now, Toastmaster Saurav, or do we do it at the end?
We'll do it right away. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
even ahead.
Okay, so I think the polls would be coming right now. So we can, I'll be quickly giving my general feedback for the entire meeting today. So I think the meeting started on time. That is something like a 1 minute over here and there doesn't matter, but I think the meeting did start on time, which is very, very crucial, because starting on time is something, especially I haven't like some of the clubs do like take it casually, but I really love this aspect about this club that no matter what role players they were waiting, if there were the necessary people in the room, they did start the meeting on time. That is something which is really appreciable. And the second thing, like the Sergeant at Arms did come up, infuse all of us with energy, and handed it over to the presiding officer Dhwani. If I had to give one small recommendation to the Sergeant at Arms is that you did laid out rules and handed it over to the presiding officer. You can do one thing is that you can also give a bit more detailed introduction for the presiding officer, because since she is he or she is the face of the club, I think we can work upon that and also introduce the president in a better way. But I think you, other than that, you did a flawless job as a Sergeant at Arms. So can we have a round of applause for Toastmaster Nitesh? Then came the presiding officer, Toastmaster Dhwani. Toastmaster Dhwani did a fabulous job as a presiding officer. She introduced the Toastmaster of the day, also set the setting for the meeting, also gave a bit of insight about the theme and all. And I think what can be done is that, like, if there are non-Toastmasters or Toastmasters visiting from other clubs, you can not take introduction, because that takes away a lot of time. You can just acknowledge their presence and move on, because they like do come because they're not part of the club, and the club members might want to know who these people are. So that is one thing you can implement. That's just my suggestion. That's up to the club to decide. And then came the Toastmaster of the day, distinguished Toastmaster Saurav, with the theme debunking myths. I think he did a fabulous job on debunking all the myths that new Toastmasters have for like. So do I have to propose the meeting extension for 10 minutes?
The team or the PO has proposed. One of the members will second.
Okay, thank you. So the distinguished Toastmaster Saurav also debunked many myths about Toastmasters, contests, leadership, and all. And one thing which I liked about his Toastmaster of the Day script was that he had distributed the content equally for each section. Like, he did talk about some things before the prepared speech, then after the prepared speech and all. What I do see a lot of Toastmasters of the Day is that they speak about a majority of their content in the beginning, but that's something he didn't do, and he distributed the content equally after each and every section. So I think it was a fabulous job done on distinguished Toastmaster Saurav Datta's part. And then I did evaluate the speakers and the evaluators as a whole in the beginning. Now I'll be proceeding on to give generalized feedback to the table topic speakers, because I also think it's important for us to work on our impromptu speeches. Now, one thing which I would like to commend the Toastmaster of table topic master, Toastmaster Karthik, was that he gave topics which were unique. Like, I have seen people generally speak about objects and all, but he didn't go for that cliche bag or any fruit or any like object which is general. He went for products which we are connected to. Like, all of us might have ate a Parle-G biscuit, or all of us might be intrigued about who will win an Oscar award, or what is a washing powder. Like, all of us remember the song of Washing Powder Nirma playing in our television. So I think you gave relatable topics, yet they were unique to speak upon. So that's something a very good job done, and we must commend Toastmaster Karthik for bringing up such products and a unique taste to the table topic section. And to give feedback for the speakers in general, I'll just give 3 feedbacks in general for all the speakers who came up. I did love everyone who brought a unique take to the topic, especially the first speaker who spoke about Oscar, like how her feelings were not considered when whom she wants to be awarded to as an Oscar award, or someone who spoke about how Parle-G is something which is very emotionally attached but losing its importance right now. So all of us had very unique points to present to the table. So if I had to give just 3 feedbacks in general for table topic speakers, is that number 1, if you have multiple thoughts on your mind, I would suggest, and it has always worked for me and others, most of my friends as well, is that go with the first thought that comes to your mind when it comes to table topics, because the first thought is something you're confident about and you will have a content to speak upon. And the second thing is that a lot of us, including me and other experienced Toastmasters, if we are like speaking on a topic which are not that comfortable, we tend to rush after the green card. So I suggest that take a pause, or like think and keep your pace as optimistic as it should be when it comes to delivering table topics, because if you rush after green card, I think it takes away from the amazing content that you've brought before and after. So maintain the pace when you see the green card and take the conclusion slowly. And the third and the final thing is that when you don't have much content to speak upon, this is something which has worked, is that suppose you got a topic about an Oscar award, or you don't know what to do, where to speak upon when you want to act like how would you feel if you were an Oscar award. You can just talk about how important is an Oscar award, or how would you feel that importance in your life. Just speak something related to the topic, because something spoken can also connect to the audience than nothing spoken. So I think speak whatever comes to your mind. You can just play around with the concept that you're given, if not totally like on the topic. You speaking and coming up to the podium really helps. And coming to my LTAG role players, I think they all did a fabulous job, and especially like the R counter, the grammarian, and also the listener timer. I think they all did a fabulous job with their roles. This was really wonderful. And if I had to give one small recommendation, is that we can pin the timer constantly when the speakers are coming. I think it was missed at 1 or 2 instances. I think that can be taken care of. It happens in an online meeting. So this was me and my evaluation report. I think I covered all the speakers and role players who come up to the podium. And I now hand it over to the Toastmaster of the day, distinguished Toastmaster Saurav.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rohit. And I would not take any more time. I would rather hand over the stage now to the presiding officer with just one quick note that before you believe anything, vet it out, look for facts, and just don't go with things because people have been doing it the same way. So the last myth I will debunk today: sex, religion, and politics are a taboo in Toastmasters. No one ever said that. In fact, Toastmaster very clearly mentions that sex, religion, and politics is allowed in Toastmaster meetings. It is something that we have been practicing in some clubs, and then other clubs started following the same practice. And we say this, which is not right. You can talk about sex, religion, and politics, just that you cannot talk about it in an offensive manner. But for that matter, you cannot talk about anything in an offensive manner. With this, I would hand over the stage back to the presiding officer, Toastmaster Dhwani Adisara.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, What an amazing meeting. And I'm sure you all must agree to me, right? With this fact, if yes, then show me a thumbs up. Perfect. Perfect. So with that, let me not waste any more time. Meanwhile, I've launched the best auxiliary role taker. So please do vote for it. Each and every vote counts, right? With that, let me just call upon the guests for the meeting today to share what did you feel about the meeting? How did you feel about the meeting? Toastmaster Priya?
Today's meeting was excellent. I had a lot of learnings and takeaways. And the table topics especially was very interesting, where we had to assume a role of a non-living thing and speak from its perspective. I totally enjoyed today's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming at our club and making our Sunday morning and your Sunday morning valuable. With that, Toastmaster Abhishek, if you could give us your 2 cents. Okay, with that, let me just quickly roll out the results. So the best speaker goes to Toastmaster Abhishek. The best evaluator goes to Toastmaster Lakshmi. The best auxiliary role taker goes to our grammarian for today, Toastmaster Punita. The best role taker goes to our general evaluator, DTM Rohit Reddy. And the best table topic speaker again goes to Toastmaster Punita. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. I call this meeting closed. Yes, adjourned. So with that, thank you so much, everybody. Have a nice day. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
Penny.
everyone.
Thank you. I have to get ready for another meeting, a physical meeting, and I'm sorry. Thank you so much. I hope, do you make certificates? Do you